So I have a question. So what do you guys do during beta?
During
Just
like having beta readers.
well, yeah, I'm in the beta phase. Is there anything I could be doing to improve it now, or do I just wait till the beta?
It so you can. A lot of it's a waiting process. That's the thing. A lot of it is waiting, seeing what your beta readers are telling you is good and what's not working, and a lot of it comes down to your own judgment. If something feels like it's an actual flaw, uh, especially if more than one beta reader is pointing it out to you, likely it means that it needs fixing. There are
But
some
you mean
others
it's
where
not going to be absolutely 100% perfect after beta? What?
No,
No.
it's perfect. It's perfect as it is. I wouldn't even send it through beta. Just publish right now.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Actually, there are kind of two ways to do it. There's kind of a looser way. You just give either chapters or the entire story to your beta readers, let them read it, and kind of add their own commentary according to their own whims. Or you can make it a little more involved. You could send them portions at a time, or have them read a portion at a time, and have specific questions about what worked, what didn't work. There's an author and an author tuber, Jenna Moresi. She did a class on it I took years ago, and she had a lot of good things to say about it, actually. And actually, having a questionnaire, like to kind of ask people if they're willing to undertake it, could be valuable. Make sure that they're
Also-
feeling the right emotions and getting the right impressions as the story goes.
letting the book sit is also a great option, especially if you're just finished with the first draft. That's where I found that it's kind of the most vital, is just letting that story sit for about a week or something along
Oh yeah,
those
I
lines.
let it sit. We went back. Gino and I did a second, and then sent out the link to beta. And now I'm just kind of in that hurry up and wait. Wasn't
Yeah,
quite sure.
it
I
is
love
a
that
little
hurry up and wait.
nerve-wracking going through beta reading for the first time if you're not used to it. Just seeing your writing kind of get several holes poked through it at one time. But over time, you'll find that you kind of get used to it, and you can kind of pick out what likely needs fixing as you're going along. That's one thing I learned.
You have to kind of take the Michael from The Office approach. I am ready to break my heart again.
Pretty much.
Oh no,
always
I know that the people who is beta reading I have the best intentions, and then I also know that they're gonna try to make the story hella good. So even if they rip it to shreds and say burn it, start over, it's for the best.
Some
want-
may
and
also
very,
give you
very
some
few
creative
stories, right?
suggestions. That's what I found.
Do you want some advice?
Hmm.
Forget somebody else has got this on, and it's repeating back into the. It's repeating back. Well, first off, somebody's repeating back into the live stream. They've got it up somewhere. Secondly, there is a couple ways you can do it, but the one way that is probably the best is give it to your beta readers, have them go through it chapter by chapter, and ask them if they were either bored or confused. Then after that, just do what you're going to do. No, I'm dead serious. And do your beta read before you do any professional editing, because if your story sucks, you don't want to be spending money on an editor.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
With my
So-
first, I had two beta readers, and they were just people I know, and that's probably not the best way to go with beta readers, but
That's
that's all
too
I had
long.
available. And so for this one, it's said Gino has a link, and what right now two other people have a link. I don't think anyone started with it yet, but it's just a web link, and
Well, I was trying to get
it's
you on
live to my
Critique
current
Link.
document.
Well, I'm just saying, if you get it on Critique Match, you can send us chapter by chapter, and also we can go in and highlight specific stuff as well.
Yeah. Oh, Maji, also, if you know him at all or are willing to reach out to him, Tisbol or TSBOL, he's maybe the
Sybil.
best critique. Sybil. See, I never know how to say anyone's names.
Out of,
Reach out to him. He's a really good critique partner and writer. And,
He's really good.
I
He's
thought
pointed out a
I
lot of shit in my
he
book.
went over things during the rough draft a little, but I know he's been hella busy with his book. I kind of was afraid to ask him.
He gets to it pretty fast. So even if you just send him like a chapter at a time, it could be worth it for you. But I guess it just depends on how brave you are, Maji.
When it came to everyone reading through my book a second time to see if there were any last things they wanted fixed, I think Sybil was getting hung up with just how busy he was doing with different projects, different beta projects he was actually reading through, and I was willing to wait on it because I knew what he would end up sending. It would be worth it. It would be worth the wait. I knew there would be something that I missed in there that he would get to.
Yep, 100%. It's like with the portion of my Shalar story that I sent him, his critique was really in depth and at first questioning, but I implemented some of the changes and made it like way easier to read just right away. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, sorry, Herman. I keep on forgetting you're not here. I'm so used to seeing the hedge. I'm not used to the goat.
Yeah, I that's throwing me off too because every time I think, oh, what was Herman say? I look up, oh, I don't see the hedge, and I think he left.
Too bad.
Oh no, ate the hedge.
Oh, speaking of which, I need to make that goat video for Royce in Albany here soon.
Well,
gonna be a good time.
I'm working on something with goats here.
Oh,
no.
So at the end of the video, at the end of this stream, instead of buy the book, can we say buy the goat?
Yes.
Buy the goat.
By the goat.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, I unintentionally asked that when I just realized that two of the beta readers are in this chat right now.
For sure.
No, I'm just curious. I mean, at this point, it's literally hurry up and wait, and I'm like, do I ask some questions? I don't want to like be annoying and bugging them all the time.
Probably the best thing you can ask for is impressions whenever they read through your chapter or whatever you send them.
Okay. Well, they got the full book.
And if
We made sure it was we made sure it was at least something real.
If there's something that is still kind of bothering you, you can always ask them and they'll let you know what their impressions are.
Gotcha.
Also, sit down with them after they read.
Yes, that really helps.
What I did with Otter.
Now, Andrew Campbell says, and this is something Herman brought up a couple weeks ago, I read my stuff out loud before sending to betas. I pick up a lot of stuff doing that.
Great practice.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the other thing I found is not just that, but when you know what you mean it to say, sometimes you'll have words that aren't right and not realize it, and you'll read it the way you have it in your head. If you have like a similar word and not realize the misspelling or whatever. Mm-hmm. When I play the use the immersive reader, so the computer reads it back to me. There's like an extra "the" in the sentence and stuff like that, and the stuff that my eyes are not catching when I'm reading, even reading out loud. My eyes are not catching it. They're forming it to what I think it should be. The computer doesn't do that. The computer says it verbatim, and I'm catching crap that way.
Yep. Does anyone else read it out loud as they're writing it, or is that just me?
Yes,
I do.
I've done that, or
a couple times.
I've kind of picked up that practice as I've gone on. At first, I didn't do that. I think I picked it up once I heard that Robert E. Howard did it, and I went, "Huh, it sounds like it helps the writing process go a bit easier for him whenever."
And then what I do is I would read it out loud, write it, let it sit for a couple days, and then go back over it to make it sure it sounded all right.
The reading out loud is brand new for me. I would always, even if I was mouthing the words as I go, I always kind of stayed quiet. So this whole close the door and start reading it aloud, it's new for me. And on my days off, from work, and I'm going through it, by the end of the day, I was like, I don't want to say another word. I've used more words today than I have all month.
Well, you see, Wrangler, that's why you got to be in charge of a construction crew. You get used to yelling abusively at people. Works well on yourself, too.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I found by reading aloud what you've written is it actually helps you to kind of adopt a more theatrical voice whenever you're going through it. Try and have fun speaking the words. and you'll catch little errors
Especially
and
the villains.
mistakes.
Reading the villains out loud sometimes does tend to be a little fun.
I try to throw on a voice whenever I'm reading off dialogue for different characters. That'll really help with some of the character voice. Granted, I still have to tweak that shit.
Do half of them sound like they're from South Park?
Yes.
And then I'm going to put you in prison, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Damn it, Katie.
Otter, time to put him down. Put him down, Otter.
Well, okay, so there's a otter inspired character. Not off well, it's an otter, but not you exactly.
Have
But,
a great night, Emily.
When I was writing the dialogue, I was sitting there going, "Is this good? What's this sound like?" And then because I made personalities for each different one, so you can try to hear the different dialogue. And Gina was like, "No, it's not long-winded enough." Okay, hold on.
Is this how a pompous otter sounds?
That's exactly what I'd ask.
Is he doth higher than thou? Oh, that's good shit.
Shall I speak unto the lowly peasants among the group?
Oh yeah. Real quick,
you want,
is
you
it
can
distracting
listen.
if I walk around while we're live streaming, or no? Is it okay?
No, that's fine. Go for it.
Okay.
How many
I
times
don't
you
have
see me
any
do it?
problem. If you need a face, he doesn't seem like he could sit still.
No, dude, I have too much energy, too much stuff to do.
See,
Oh man,
I wish I had any of that energy.
well, dude, I have to, dude. Like I'm like 300-pound, large, almost 30-year-old man. I have to if I don't keep it up, I die, man. If I stop moving, I'm not getting back up. Holy smokes!
That's funny. Cheeto's like, we didn't go full Monty Python.
Frequency's going.
No holy
I'm
hand
getting dizzy. Stop
grenades
it.
or anything.
Frequency. I'm gonna hurl.
Oh,
Wait,
no, we got trippy
frequency.
I
dizzy.
just got dizzy, but I'll fix that by going the other way.
Let's go. Let's go. You go one way, I'll go the other.
Oh no! What the hell?
Oh shit!
This is what
Okay.
we do here on the Weekly Wing.
This is how you can tell who's high and who's sober. The sober person can watch it. The high person's going, "What the hell?"
Trippy's like, oh.
I was sober when I started spinning, but when I stopped, I felt like I was kind of inebriated.
Oh yeah. There's something. What about? Have you guys ever read a story like where by the end of it was messing with you so much mentally you felt somewhat not sober by the end of the story?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are my favorite type of horror movies. Actually, the ones that you're like, wait, what the hell just happened? Okay, I gotta rewind.
Anything that Trippy writes.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like I may just.
I look like that cat that's seen the universe by the time I'm done reading your poems.
So I have my.
I mean, that's
still. I had this short story idea, but I'm gonna abandon it for my next one. I think it's a little more brilliant. I want to write a story about like a story about a writer, but the character of the writer can hear the narrator. So when you're reading the narration, the character hears it and it's just like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? I'm hearing voices.
Oh.
And just but
Yeah,
off
that's
all
been
the
done. I
narr-
can't
you
remember
know,
when.
and see how that goes. I gotta have like a bigger conflict for it. I think I want to write that.
I distinctly remember reading a book like that maybe 10 years ago where like I think that the character was like trying to fight the narrator and the author, but I can't remember.
Yeah, just kind of break the fourth wall. I'll experiment there. Since I'm all new to this and amateur as fuck. Yeah,
There you go.
now's the
Yeah.
time to experiment.
All right.
See what I
This
can
next
TS
one's going to go
Ball.
out to TS Ball. He's a new supporter here on the channel.
In fairness, I made the same mistake whenever I first started talking to Sybil.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just the build up, and then just
All of us did.
he's like, it's just the build up, and then Eric just eviscerates
Bull.
this man's. Yeah, he just eviscerates all this man's hopes and dreams by mispronouncing the name.
Well, that's why you have to have a really like easily understandable name, like Wrangler. No question. That's all. There's no wrong way to say that can be easily comprehended.
Oh man, my favorite was okay. So I left a super chat for Jay one time in Drunk 3PO's channel, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, Maji, Chad, and then he's like, wait a second. Like he clicked on my picture, blew it up on screen, and he's like, dude, are you a brony?
And that's when you send like a voice message. Yes.